hand raising slow. Let the real ones speak. Pints and politics every damn week. Yo.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I know, first flip-flop edition, you know, we're outside, got the sun in our face, you know, dealing with real-world problems, you know.
Yeah. Hey, but it's been a furlough week.
That's right,
Got
man.
a little golf in.
I did. I when I was out in the low country doing a little bit of work for the day job, met up with Representative Brandon Cox.
Hijacked.
Over in Goose Creek, and him and I played one late afternoon, and we only played 9 holes. We're not serious golfers, but had a good time, man. Had a good time.
Good.
How about you? How'd you spend your week?
I played a little golf as well.
Oh, did you?
Went up to Springfield and played yesterday.
Nice.
So I was north of the river. Played with my buddy David Hamner.
Oh.
So went up there and we played 18.
Okay.
But yeah,
did the Silfab chemical cloud get you while you were playing?
Maybe that's what it was that got David a little tipsy around hole number 10.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening to Pints and Politics. This is episode
84, Steve Largent edition.
I thought we stopped doing that. Now that we're back in the cool 80s.
We're in the 80s now.
But want to thank our sponsors first and foremost, Comer Distributing, for providing this week's tasty beverage. Now, this is the big cousin to Little Slurp.
Yeah, we had Little Slurp before, but now that we've graduated and got up a little bit, now we're on to the Big Slurp.
Yeah, this is another NODA brewing right here out of Charlotte. This is the Juicy Imperial IPA. What do you think?
It's all right.
First sip was whoo.
Yeah, first sip kind of catch you. Mm-hmm. It's like a Jolly Rancher.
Man, I'm not too crazy about IPAs because they're hoppy on that back end, but this isn't too bad. It's a little toned down a little bit, but also want to thank another sponsor.
Yeah, Burns Automotive, which I love the little commercials in the middle.
I know, man.
Last week our podcast was so short it just like felt like it was commercials. But
I did get a couple of complaints in the mailbox about God damn, man, y'all are getting too corporate. Settle down. Settle down. But yeah, man, so while we were on furlough, the Senate was in the chamber.
Yep.
And the big news that was coming out of our Senate colleagues was they finally passed the
hemp drinks.
Yeah. The THC hemp-derived products. It allows for drinks and gummies. And I did get sort of a bullet point sheet on what the Senate sort of agreed to. Let me sort of go through that, tell the two listeners what's included in the Senate bill, and then you and I'll sort of have a discussion.
All right.
So the product limits and eligible for retailers are 5 milligrams or less, single-serving 12-ounce cans may be sold in a C-store, so your grocery stores, right? So
convenience stores.
Anything 5 milligrams or less can be found in convenience grocery stores, whatnot. But it's got to be behind the counter. So if you're in Publix, they have a customer service. Isn't that where they sell cigarettes?
Yeah.
That's what I've been told. It's pretty much like where they keep all the cigarettes. That's where all the hemp-derived drinks will be. Okay, so for 5 milligrams or less. All right, so anything that is more than 5 but less than 10 milligram single-serving 12-ounce cans or 750 milliliter bottles and gummies can be sold in an ABC store for off-premise sales. So
just like liquor has to be sold in a liquor store.
Yep. And again, this stuff has to be sold behind the counter. It cannot be just on a shelf. Also, on-premise sales no longer allowed. So you go to
no more restaurant sales.
Yep, no restaurant sales. No, I was actually at the country club down there in Goose Creek, and they had a THC beverage on the menu.
I wonder if it makes people order more food while they're there.
I don't know, but
get the munchies while you're in the restaurant. Right. It's a good place to be.
Yep, that's right. So let me go into the gummies. So the gummies have to be maximum 10 milligrams per gummy, and the maximum that can be served is 4 gummies per serving size.
So, I don't know what that means. Is sticky icky like 10 milligrams and skunk weed like 5 milligrams? Like, what's the difference here?
I have no idea. And again, this is not perfect, right? Because and there's no maximum. Like, you can buy
100
packs
Yeah.
of these things. And so that's just going to be probably that's going to be some problem.
But you're not going to make it stronger by buying more.
No, it's not. So let's see. I did mention all the consumables must be behind the counter, no limit on the quantity. The time and day sales, same as what they're sold with, like right now, anytime, except for Sundays. Hemp drinks can't be sold on Sundays unless a local referendum passes allowing for it.
Yeah, which is the way that we handle alcohol right now.
Also, retailers cannot deliver hemp drinks directly to a customer's home. Got to be 21 or older.
No drug dash.
No. Also, there is some safe harbors, most notably for folks who manufacture hemp drinks. I know there's one down in Charleston, one up in Greenville, I know. The name Rebel Rabbit was used in a lot of the Senate debate, and there is a safe harbor provision for them to manufacture these drinks for sale
Other states.
out of state. So when they are making things that are higher than a 10 milligram, they have a safe harbor provision where they can't be, SLED can't come in and bust it. So, yeah, I mean,
Which didn't SLED just have a big raid of
I think so.
gathering up a bunch of stuff? I remember seeing a letter put out by Chief Kill.
Yeah.
But
So what do you think hearing all that? So 5 milligrams or less single serving cans you can buy in your neighborhood grocery store, 7-Eleven.
I don't know what that equates to. That's the difficult part.
I don't either. There's no limit on how many cans you can buy,
Yeah.
right? It's just like, you can walk into your neighborhood grocery store right now and load up a cart with cases of beer.
Yeah, but you could do the same thing with nicotine.
No, right. So,
and you could consume too much nicotine and harm
again,
yourself.
that Senate bill, they heard a lot of this, right? There's no limits. There's a lot of risks with that because we don't know how it's going to impact each person or each consumer's health. It's going to affect it differently, but that's the same argument that could be made for alcohol, right?
Well, and if it's going to have to be behind the counter, so therefore, whoever's selling it they can be held responsible, just as you can with other products.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about some teenager, sticking it in their coat pocket and walking off, or anything of that nature.
And sort of the higher potency stuff is in ABC. Right?
Yes.
So it's not even accessible for kids under 21, right? And then if you are 21 and older and you go to an ABC store for, say, gummies, you still have to talk to the clerk and get it from a behind the counter.
Now, does this mean the vape stores can't sell the gummies anymore?
Nope. It does.
I mean, I think you should have to show an ID to go into a vape store, honestly.
Yeah, there was some language about the vape stores. Let me pull that back. I believe for the vape stores, they just have to get an additional license.
Okay.
Because this stuff is now being considered alcohol. So, yeah. So the bill no longer contains language prohibiting vape shops from holding a license, but they would need the additional license, to sell alcohol. So it doesn't.
So essentially, it is mirroring alcohol sale rules.
Yeah, but it does require an additional license to sell this stuff.
But it's adding in the CBD, which contains THC, can only be up to a certain limit.
I do believe it did ban synthetics.
That's a good thing.
So
the synthetics are the really the harmful effects from everything that I've read.
Yeah, and
if this blows over on us, we're going to keep going.
And I don't know, folks, if anyone watched the Senate debate on this issue, but the votes were all over the place. I mean, you had folks who I thought who voted for a ban, but then turned around and voted for it to stay in grocery stores.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It was just all over the map. And I can't imagine, the majority leader over there, Senator Massey at Edgefield, I can't imagine his job last week, the difficulty level. And our very own Michael Johnson, because he was subcommittee chair. I think he was leading some of the floor debate. man, trying to figure out where certain senators were going to fall on a certain vote, on an amendment, on a total ban, whatever, must have been.
Do they whip votes the same way that we do? I mean, we have so many people, so the majority leader always wants to know where you are beforehand, kind of.
Yeah, they're just like, hey,
So
how
that
do you
way,
feel about this?
not an embarrassment on the floor, but the Senate seems to kind of play their own ball, so to say.
Yeah.
And you don't really know where anyone is until you get to the floor,
I
which
don't know.
makes for those long debates.
But I did notice that they took breaks for dinner, and they'd be out for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And again, I heard that they were meeting, as a caucus, trying to get together and figure out where folks were. So it's a complicated issue. It really is.
I was there, I think it was Tuesday night, came in because they had the governor's school dinner. So I came in for that, and they were there late.
Yeah, I think they got out around like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
It was bad. But from my understanding, I thought it failed then, but then they came back on Thursday.
Reconsidered.
And they still went.
Yeah. So,
for a long time.
But again, it's just a complicated issue, right? Because everyone's got that, whether it's your grandmother, whether it's your sister, whether it's your son or your spouse even, that uses some of these products for various quote-unquote medicinal reasons, whether it's to help them sleep, back problems, seizures, whatever, right? They're like self-diagnosing, and they're testing it themselves because they can get it in the market, and
it's one of the products that are safe enough to test on yourself.
Right. And so I think at the end of the day, and I don't know, we were off this week, so I don't know what's our schedule to take the Senate bill. Well, actually, that's a House bill, but the Senate version, I don't know what the schedule is to take that up. I think at the end of the day, at a minimum, we've got to get some of these synthetic, risky, some would say dangerous products off the market.
Yes.
And at a minimum, you have to keep them out of the hands of kids, right? Because we had a local issue at the Budman on Cherry Road where there was this
synthetic mushroom.
Yeah, some sort of synthetic mushroom candy bar, and a gentleman came in, bought it, I guess consumed the whole thing, and then came back raging like a lunatic, shooting up the place. I think he killed multiple people, led police on a wild goose chase across town. And at a minimum, that's our responsibility. That's what we're trying to do in the General Assembly, is to keep those products off the market and at the end of the day out of the hands of kids. So,
but once again, synthetic.
Yes.
It's our current laws that are in place that are allowing the synthetics. And that's really what we have to stop. You're not seeing anything of people just getting THC, getting CBD, and going and doing things like this. It is the synthetics that seem to be causing the problem.
And the consumer's not informed, right? They don't know what they're purchasing.
Don't eat bath salts, folks.
So, that was sort of the big news coming out of the Senate last week. Again, I don't know what the timetable is for us to take that up. We shall see. Like I said, at a minimum, I'm in favor of getting age restrictions on these things, banning the synthetics, putting some potency caps, and then just taxing it.
Yeah.
Right? As long as, and again, but we do have the federal, they closed that
they put a sunset on it
for later this year.
Yeah.
So, again, folks, this is going to be a ongoing topic of discussion here on the podcast and also in the chambers of the General Assembly, because, again, if the feds are now saying they're closing that loophole and all these products are going to be illegal, well, we're going to have to conform with that until some more responsible, deliberate policy gets put out there, right?
Yeah.
Ready to upgrade your ride? Head to Burns Chevrolet for the newest Chevy trucks, SUVs, and cars. Priced to move and ready to roll.
Shop the entire lineup and schedule your test drive at BurnsChevyCadillac.com. Burns Chevrolet, your right choice for 100 years.
So,
well, yeah, and speaking of the sunset, as I was telling you before, the sunset idea kind of led to the sunset Section 230 idea on the tech side of things.
Yeah.
And while I was out of town, I get a message from Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is an advocate for sunsetting Section 230. let me know that he was going to rescind his support for sunsetting Section 230 because of the big tech trials going on, which they're awaiting a verdict right now. And I think it's the Ninth Circuit in California.
California. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, they're already awaiting a verdict?
They're awaiting a verdict right now. And the question that the jury asked, it's been 6 days awaiting a verdict, but the cases have been rested. But one of the questions they asked was compensatory, or that
damages.
word, damages.
Wow.
Yeah,
man.
So
and
we'll see how that ends up.
That's gonna drag out for another 5 years, right?
Hopefully not.
Well, I mean, hopefully not.
My lawsuit's caught up in there, so I'm definitely hoping not.
I'm just thinking, because you got, the appeals process. This thing's going to the Supreme Court, folks.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and as it should.
Yeah. So, let's hop. While we're talking about court cases, let's hop to another local issue. I went on and joined Straight Talk with Manning and Ashley on Friday, and he asked me about SilFab.
Whew.
Right.
You did that in that short of a program?
And yeah, right. and it is. Look, it's a sensitive local subject. I don't know where the listeners fall in this. I think at the end of the day, like we talked about before on an early episode, it's going to depend on if a court rules that the way SilFab is operating right now is light industrial or heavy industrial at the end of the day. And right now, that's in our circuit court. So,
well, we had another situation at SilFab, a dumpster fire.
Oh, yeah. Nothing hazardous,
this
folks.
But this, I don't know. Either they are just really incompetent and they can't keep from stepping on it themselves right now, or there's some type of sabotage or something going on.
It does seem like, wait, what? I mean, it's like one thing after another.
I'm just not going to make any comments about anything going boom. I don't want everybody blowing up on me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you make
no
one,
pun intended.
You make one joke. And, see, the thing is, we didn't make it obvious, though, either.
Yeah.
It was more like tongue-in-cheek, and everyone starts just...
Because people just want to watch the reel instead of listen to the podcast, right?
So yeah.
Calm down, Scott Jensen. It's okay.
But, yeah, so that is going on. And, again, man, a judge is going to determine the light versus heavy industrial question. And look, I think that's going to get appealed too. That's going to go to our Court of Appeals.
Yeah.
Then that'll probably go to the Supreme Court, our state Supreme Court.
I did see our Attorney General called for transparency through the council, even though it's in court, asking for clarification too.
Yeah, right.
That come out this past week.
And
it's been a busy furlough week, actually.
Well, and a lot of folks are weighing in. Again, this is a political hot-button issue. It is an election year. Our current AG is...
running for governor.
Running for governor. We have a current lieutenant governor running for governor.
Speaking of, we got a new candidate running for governor.
Yeah, we have our sitting congressman in Ralph Norman.
That represents the
governor.
area.
Right. So, I mean, whether it's an opportunity or it's problematic depends on, who you're asking. And then,
Congresswoman Nancy Mace weighed in on it.
Yep. And we did get a new candidate in the governor's race. So that makes what? 1, 5, 6 now.
That's just on the Republican side.
Yeah, right. So, you want
then you got what? 3 Democrats too?
Yeah, you want to get into that a little bit?
Whew, which one?
All right, look,
we're
going to take a little bit of a break so Guffey can have an American spirit, and then we'll come back and talk
I won't light it until we get back.
This episode of Pints of Politics is brought to you by Comer Distributing. Comer Distributing Company is a wholesale beer distributor located in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Founded in 1971, Comer is a family-owned business that distributes beer and other beverages to York, Chester, Fairfield, Lancaster, Kershaw, Lexington, and Richland counties.
Pints of politics every damn week. Yo.
All right, so we brought up the governor's race.
Yes.
Someone else jumped in, and Ron Reddy is a billionaire, or uber wealthy millionaire.
Yeah.
Ron, no offense, I don't know you that well, but he did jump into the race.
Yeah.
Last week.
I like the fact that he fights to protect children. So his passion has always been stopping the sex trafficking.
Yeah.
So he fights against the CSAM and a lot of the things that I fight for.
Yep, good.
As well. So I do like that, but I have not personally met him.
Yeah, me neither. And what do you think about he's getting in pretty late?
Yeah, I think a lot of that just depended on how the field was going to shape up and what bills were going to move.
Yeah.
You know, he spoke very highly of the House and Merle Smith, but he's not very happy with the Senate right now.
Well, that's because they won't take up the judicial reform.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
go figure. I mean, if you got anything to do with magistrates, they're not going to take it up. That's their power.
Yeah. So, Ram Reddy, the businessman, has jumped into the race, and you know why the camera was not rolling. We went and checked out the Cowshe futures on the governor's race, and as
It's not Betty Mark Corral.
Yep, it's futures, right?
Right.
You're investing in the future market
Legal in South Carolina.
of candidates.
And you could choose your candidate for only 12 cents right now.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So right now, Pam Yvette has 37%. Alan Wilson has 28%. Nancy Mace with 16. Ralph Norman with 13. Ron Reddy at 6. And our colleague over there in the Senate, Josh Kimbrell, is less than 1 right now. So, you know, I don't know. I still think this race is anyone's to win.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time left. I mean, and
anything could happen between now and then.
And our goal here on this podcast is to have every candidate who is running for South Carolina governor to come on the show.
Yeah.
So we're trying to work all those things out. I know all of these candidates have busy schedules, right?
As do we.
Right. I mean, you think Pam Yvette and Alan Wilson, we've already got Pam Yvette already came on the show. Alan Wilson, I mean, he's not only campaigning for the governor job, just like Pam Yvette, but they also hold statewide
Positions.
constitutional offices.
Yeah.
Nancy Mace, she's a sitting congressperson, as is Ralph Norman.
Yep.
So they are holding down those jobs as well as trying to campaign. So,
well, while you were doing the prediction market,
yeah,
I was running names through AI. And I'm just asking AI for a candidate breakdown in the Republican primary.
Okay.
Because that's the 6 candidates.
Yeah.
And a candidate breakdown, not my opinion, not your opinion.
Yeah.
I will read these out real quick. The lane for Alan Wilson says establishment conservative, law and order. The pros are highest statewide name ID in the field. He's a proven vote getter, multiple AG wins, strong donor network, and institutional backing. He can run a disciplined, low-risk campaign. The cons is career politician, can struggle to excite grassroots voters, becomes the main target for everyone else, and vulnerable if anti-establishment vote consolidates.
Okay.
Now for Nancy Mace, it says the lane is media-savvy conservative, independent brand. Pros, very high name recognition, national and local. Strong communicator, dominates headlines, appeals to suburban voters and women, and can raise serious money quickly. Cons, polarizing with the GOP base, has taken positions that upset both sides at times, can struggle with party unity vote, and opponents will frame her as inconsistent. What do you think about those two so far? That's a pretty fair assessment.
Right. High level.
Yeah.
For the average, and I'm just saying, you know, when we talk about the average voter, right?
Right.
I think we know these candidates a little more because we are, you know, House reps. So we know these folks on a personal level as well. But yeah, I think that's right on the money.
So for Ralph Norman, it says the lane is hard conservative. It says Trump aligned. Pros, strong credibility with conservative base, clear ideological lane, no confusion on where he stands, appeals to upstate and grassroots activists, can consolidate right-of-the-field voters. Cons, limited statewide name ID compared to Wilson and Mace. He's less polished messaging style, could get boxed into a narrow lane, and fundraising not at the same level as top-tier opponents. Josh Kimbrell. It says lane, populist conservative, media-driven. Pros, strong communicator, has a radio background, good at framing issues and driving narrative. He appeals to grassroots and activist base, can outperform expectations in debates. Cons, lower statewide name recognition, needs significant fundraising to even compete. He risks of overlapping lane with Norman, and has to break out early or get squeezed. I'd say those two are fair too.
And this is Chat GPT?
This is Chat GPT.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
So for the final two, we'll get them together. Our next candidate will be Pamela Yvette, Lane, executive, business, and continuity candidate.
Yeah.
Pros, statewide elected official, executive branch experience, can appeal to business community, potential to consolidate establishment voters if Wilson weakens. Cons, tied closely to current administration, which McMaster is very popular at the time, lower political profile than others, can get overshadowed in a loud field, and it says not a natural headline grabber. Now, for the final one, Rom Reddy, newest man in here. It says outsider / businessman. Pros, can run as a anti-politician candidate, potential self-funding advantage, which he said he's going to do both.
Yeah.
Fresh face to voters tired of insiders. He can disrupt messaging if he lands a strong issue. Cons, very low name recognition. No proven electoral track record. Needs massive spending to compete and risk of being dismissed early. So, now it breaks down and gives us a big picture too. In the big picture, it says vote splitting will decide everything. Establishment lane is Wilson and Yvette. Conservative lane is Norman and Kimbrell. Independent media lane is Mace. Outsider lane is Reddy. It says nobody starts with the majority. Yeah. So it's going to have to consolidate. And it says Nancy Mace is the wild card. She can expand the electorate or get boxed out by base voters. She changes the math more than anyone else in the field. Wilson is the default winner for now. If the field stays crowded, opposition stays divided. This is according to AI.
Yeah, according to Chat
GPT.
Yep.
Yes.
And again, I think all of those, when you looked at the candidate breakdown, sort of their pros and cons, I think that's the conventional wisdom that the average voter could use and say about each candidate. But I do think when it comes to getting their name out there and getting someone's vote commitment, I do think it breaks down to an Yvette and Alan Wilson competing in a pool or lane of voters. I do think you have then.
I think Nancy and Norman are competing
for that
a lot of the same lane.
That's right. That's right. And then where does Rom Reddy and Josh Kimbrell come in? That's sort of the variables. And I think
4 of them are actually competing in that lane versus Wilson and Yvette are
I think
in the same
Rom
lane.
Reddy takes support from a Ralph Norman and a Nancy Mace, right?
Yeah. Especially with Doge.
Yep. And so that's where I just don't know. And again, we're in filing period right now. So we'll see if all of these 6 candidates will actually file, right? Because I think to date, Senator Josh Kimbrell has not filed. So we'll see. Because if he doesn't file, then I think that right of center or that far right lane gets your Mace, Norman, and maybe a little bit of Rom Reddy. I think Rom Reddy's challenge is he's got to get his name out there. As far as...
Which he has Wesley, which was with Push, that can actually get the name recognition out there.
Well, it's not just that. It's just also, I mean, these other candidates like our Attorney General Alan Wilson and our Lieutenant Governor Pam Yvette, they have been known names in the political arena for a while. Now, again, that could potentially be
on a statewide level.
Right. But he's going to have to get out there, not only get his name out there, but also the voters like to get to know the candidates.
Yes.
Right? So he is going to have to, I mean, just last year, before the end of last year, Pam had been to all 46 counties. Remember, she mentioned that in her, when she came on the show. And that is just something that is going to be a barrier for Mr. Reddy that he just got in.
And it's going to depend, I mean, let's be honest, where's Trump going to land?
Yep.
You know, I think Pam's got strong ties with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Reddy has donated heavily to Trump.
Yep.
I think, Nancy has been tied with Trump. So you got 3 candidates really fighting for the Trump endorsement, which could make a difference with some undecided voters.
Yep. And at the end of the day, I think this governor's race for the Republican nomination will go to a runoff, right? It will not be settled on June 9th.
Yeah.
And right now, if I am one of those 6 candidates, I am looking to get into that runoff, right? And so I think that's got to be a strategy for all the candidates, is to get their name out there, get their message out there, so they can be either 1 or 2 and make it to that mad dash for the runoff.
And in the political field, that is tough because you're trying to differentiate yourself from your opponents.
Yep.
And sometimes that involves some hit pieces.
Because we've already seen them.
Yeah.
I think this past week.
Yeah.
I think the Yvette team had an ad saying that Alan Wilson wasn't there for President Trump back in the day. And
it was an AI commercial.
Yeah.
Which is very scary to me. Of utilizing the AI ads, and I'm okay with people utilizing AI for themselves, but once you start putting opponents in there, then that becomes scary.
Yeah, and we can have a conversation, a bigger, larger conversation on AI-generated commercials, because I've seen very similar ads where they'll throw up someone who looks like the candidate.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so one could...
It's like the old Bobby Gandy commercials. Used to always sound like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, right. So you could always
Monica loves our
make an
bands.
argument for and against. But, so yeah, I mean, that's just the Republican side. Now on the Democrat side, we've got our colleague in the House, Jermaine Johnson, that made some news on social media. Mullins McLeod, the attorney down in Charleston.
And then you had the guy from the Advanced Pay Solutions. He's the guy that they seem to be pushing. That has a lot of money.
Is that the gentleman out of Greenville?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know his name, but evidently they were trying to convince Jermaine to get out.
Yep.
To make way for him.
Yeah. So on the Democratic side, there's now, and again, I don't know if the 3 have officially filed, but they have stated their intentions to file and run for governor on the Democratic side.
Right.
I think there might have been some speculation that Jermaine Johnson was not going to file. But I saw him on social media. He put it out there. Nope, he's in it to win it. He's not backing down.
I saw that.
You know, excuse me, his people have supported him. Their voices are known that, hey, they want him to stay in and run, and so that's what he's going to do. So I tell you, man, can you remember a field that was so wide open for...
On the weekend that we have Darlington.
So the last time I can remember a race for governor, especially on the Republican side, because let's face it, it's an uphill climb for any of these Democratic nominees or candidates
In South Carolina.
to win right now.
Until the woke stuff goes away, I don't know how you win those.
Yep, or you change your message. But yes, since what, Nikki Haley
Yeah.
won? Is probably the last time.
And she was a surprise candidate.
So, yeah.
No one expected her to win.
And so that's why we say, like, hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen depending on not just campaign events, but real world events, right? You know, something could happen that affects and shapes the message of this campaign, and, you know, that will push these governor candidates to change the message. So,
Which, speaking of, we're in the middle of filing.
yeah.
You got 1 week left. Do you have anyone that's filed against you as of yet?
Not yet.
Which, you know, they're going to wait until the
They're going to wait till the
last minute to do
Yep.
so.
Yeah,
I've got
so
one Democrat.
I fully anticipate I'll have a challenger, and you know that's fine. We'll get our messages out there. But you know, we joked around this past week. Someone was asking Brandon Cox and I about, like, hey man, so was everything you thought it was? Do you like it? You know, and I was like, man, some days it can really suck, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whenever you can actually help someone, that's what
Yeah.
makes it work.
And effectuating good policy. And so when I say it could, on some days it can really suck, but it's worth it. Like, I truly mean it. It can be just frustrating. It can be, you know, just a grind and all those things. But it's a great opportunity when you do get those wins, when you do help out a constituent. You know,
Yeah.
I think I talked about this on the last episode, where I was able to help someone get their educational records and their college transcripts from a institution that had shuddered. And she was like, how the hell am I supposed to get my records? And our Department of Education came in and helped. So glad to help folks. And, you know, I did not say this on Straight Talk this past week, but that is our job. And those are the things that make us feel good.
Yeah.
You know, as house reps.
Whenever you can actually make a difference.
Yeah. And because we are not too far removed where I can remember getting ticked off at the DMV or the Department of Transportation or whatever it is. But knowing that you have whether it's a senator or a House rep who's willing to help you, that's our job, you know. And so, folks, if you do have an issue, whether it's a DSS, a DJJ, a DMV, maybe it's a tax issue with our Department of Revenue.
I got an email from a high school student this past week.
Oh, yeah? That's our job. So
Yep.
if we can help you out, even if you're not our constituent, let us know. We'll be more than happy to make some phone calls.
Yeah.
So this high school student.
Yeah,
What
talking about ventilation system within the schools.
Oh, I got you.
You know, the way we're breathing in all this pollen right now out here. You know, we were talking about how much pollen covers everything just while we're in the middle of break. But the student's having trouble with ventilation and was asking me to, in the words of the student, was use my power to help. And I just replied and I said, you know, I firmly believe that government works best closest to the people.
Yeah.
And have you written anything to your teacher to complain about the ventilation system?
Yeah.
Have you written to your administrators? Have you written to your school board? You know, and just trying to teach them to go through the proper steps and then saying, and here is my cell phone number.
Yeah.
Should you need help in the future. But you need to start off at this level prior to coming to me.
Yep.
Because we don't really control those things.
Well, and I do have a little bit of an update. I had a great conversation with, you know, you and I were talking about, remember when the Senate put that pay increase in last year in the budget? And
you mean the one I voted for that you didn't?
Right. Well, and we talked about how we would, you know, man, if we got in-district money back and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to start paying staff.
Donate.
Man, so I actually had a constituent here in Rock Hill who is a senior at Carolina who's looking for some professional experience in government. She's a poli-sci major, and I just so happened to be in Columbia a little bit last week, and I, you know, she left me her cell phone and said, hey, if there's any opportunities in your office, let me know. I texted her, and I said, hey, I'm going to be in Columbia for another, like, 30, 45 minutes. Man, she said, give me 20.
Hey, initiative.
Came and met. We talked for a good half an hour. Great young person.
I would say for all the young people out there, number one thing,
this
90% of success is showing up.
Yep. And so that's what I told her. At the end of it, she was just seemed like a good person, willing to work and put in the time. And I said, hey, let's figure it out. I've never had an intern. I don't have a job description. I have none of this stuff. But you seem like a good person. Let's see what we can work out. And I said, but before you leave, just let you know, you did pass the first test.
Uh-oh.
And she was like, what's the first test? I said, I gave you a very short window of opportunity.
He said, grab that beer in 5 seconds.
And she said, I can be there in 20 minutes. So it was spur of the moment.
Yeah.
When the opportunity arose, she took it. You know what I mean? And young people.
That's what it is.
I know, man. Like young people, if there's a one lesson we can put across to you.
I tell Cohen, he's 19, hey, I need you to get this grass cut. 3 weeks later, he's like, I was going to get to it. I'm like, look, you're not married yet. You start saying that once you get married.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you'll probably see her in the office this week. I don't know exactly what she'll be doing. So if you need help too, let us know.
Yeah.
We can go halvesies. Short on time in Rock Hill? Swing by Burns Tire and Quick Service Center for fast, reliable auto care to fit your schedule. Tires, oil changes, brakes, in and out without hassle.
Easy, quick, and right here in town. Burns Tire and Quick Service. We keep Rock Hill rolling.
Pints and politics every damn week.
That was without the D'Angelo flair. So I originally had, make it sound a little bit like Brown Sugar from D'Angelo.
Man, I'm showing my age. I don't even know who you're talking about. Look, folks.
Hey,
I'll
at
be
least
50
you
this
know
year.
who Wu-Tang is.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Wu-Tang. I'm surprised you know who Wu-Tang is.
Oh,
They're
come on.
before your
Oh,
time.
whatever.
I mean, unless you were listening to it in 4th grade.
Come on now.
I mean, 36 Chambers came out, what, in the early
96.
90s? Right?
96.
No. I challenge
94
you.
to 96.
No. Wu-Tang came out like 36 Chambers was like 93, 94.
Hey, Siri, when did 36 Chambers come out?
Because I was in high school.
Enter the Wu-Tang was released in
Boom.
1993. I was 13. That's about right.
Yeah, so you're in 4th grade.
Got
held back twice. All right.
Hey, but I passed.
So let's talk about next
It's not
week.
how many times you got to do it. It's whether you actually do it, right?
We talking about 3rd grade again?
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. Let's get this thing out of the ditch, please. So next week, what you got? Nothing with LCI?
So nothing that I'm aware of as of right now.
Okay.
Now
right.
I do know I've got the Shazam bill coming up in Judiciary. Shazam, however you want to say it.
Yeah. And you got me to co-sponsor.
Yes.
You let me know about that one. That's a good.
So
bill.
that's the Stop Social Media Addictive Harms.
Yeah. The death scrolling and all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
So that one should be coming up, and have a hearing in full judiciary on Tuesday. Then we have Mothers Against Media Addiction for South Carolina coming down, along with some national members on Wednesday.
Yep.
Trying to meet with many of the House members, Senate members
throughout
the state.
And that's Kimberly Long.
Kimberly Long is our
Mill.
rep in Fort Mill.
She's a teacher up there.
But there are now other members throughout the state that will also be there as well.
And she is a great example of the teachers that we want to bring and attract and recruit here in South Carolina. She
a lot of statistics.
She is she is a special needs teacher. So I've actually visited her and just sat in her classroom. And, she brings parents in to sort of enjoy like a last sort of, not a graduation, but, type of classroom experience. And it's just great, man. And you can tell that she loves what she does.
Yeah.
Right? And she loves those kids. And you don't get that a lot out of every single teacher. I'm sure most teachers do, but you could really tell. It really shows through when I had that experience visiting her classroom. So
yeah, I mean, and all the volunteering things that she does is it's all for free. So it's not as if she's getting paid to do these things.
Right. So,
I know whenever I introduced her to Julie with Mama and Elizabeth, I think a year ago.
Yeah.
She immediately jumped in. She's like, "Oh, I love this.
Yeah,
I love
she did
what
like
they're fighting for."
And she was doing I think she started a summer camp back for special needs last year. And so she said, "Hey, I want you and your wife to give me some feedback. Like, what are y'all looking for in a summer program for, kids like your boys, right?" And so she literally came down and spent an hour with us just trying to get our input to make the program a better program for special needs kids and families, So like I said, she loves what she does, and that's always a great start when you're talking about teaching South Carolina's youth.
I agree with that.
Also, I think on Wednesday we have South Carolina retired teachers coming down as well.
Okay.
I actually had a church member this morning come over and say, "Hey, we're coming to see you on Wednesday." And I said, "Oh, are you?" And I thought it was the MoMA stuff. And she was like, No, South Carolina Retired Teachers Association's coming down. So we're going to have a lot of folks, introductions on Wednesday, it sounds like. But
it will be fun.
I will reach out to Chair Lady Erickson and make sure, hey, you're introducing, right?
Yeah.
So committee work. We also have a softball game.
We have a softball game Tuesday night, House versus Senate. Senate beat us for the first time in forever last year.
And let me clarify. The Senate pages beat the House last year. Okay.
Well, they did get Russell Watt changed from the House to the Senate.
Okay.
Matt Lieber changed from the House to the Senate. The difference is we don't typically play.
Yeah.
And I said that, I may play this year, but if I do, I'm going to have to dress as Wild Thing. Cut some sleeves off, maybe a feather earring or something.
Right. Yeah, so last year, and I'm not giving that much credit to Russell Watt and Matt Lieber, our senators who were former House members.
Russell's a pretty good softball. And Everett is brand new senator.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good softball player.
Moving around them bases, son.
Yeah. Oh, he can hit the ball.
Yeah, I would give more credit to the pages.
Yeah.
And we joked around about some of the House members, the younger members, and I'm saying you, not me, have not played in this game, right? We let the veterans and,
I prefer to sit there and listen to Tommy Pope run his mouth at him.
I know.
He's the
Folks,
best heckler in the world.
If you do not know, Representative Tommy Pope does a great job heckling not just the senators
He
or their
represents
pages.
the
He
whole
will
House
heckle the
members.
hell out of House members, like on our team. And he would, like, I remember he gave Case Britton hell.
Those are your mama's shoes.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun event, and that is sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yep.
And that's going to be in memory of Mary Elizabeth Mulliken.
Yep.
This year, she was lost last year, and I know that's just going to be a big event this year. And that's going to be Tuesday night at Segura Field, right?
I don't know what field. Whatever field we normally go to.
Yep.
The
It's
Gamecock field.
All right, so look for a house win there.
And then, so we got that. And then Thursday, I'm going to take off to go speak at a superintendent conference, another press conference, at Hilton Head.
I tell you, I love it. I love it when Guffey gets to say that he is going to an education conference that he's going to be the keynote speaker on.
Yeah.
It's like, who knew? I mean, author, House rep.
Hey, not author yet. It haven't published yet. I still got to turn in a few things.
Keynote speaker. Man, I'm telling you. All right. Also, we got a full 3M committee on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. And my responsibilities there will be, we passed a collaborative practice bill that the Senate gave us. Basically what this does is it allows pharmacists and your physicians to work together to better get the drugs that you need with the least amount of physician visits, right? And so what this does is it allows that pharmacist and physician to enter into a practice agreement. Also, I threw an amendment on there that gives some test to treat flexibility.
You mean you threw an amendment in committee? You mean you actually want to get things done?
In subcommittee, yes. Yeah, and again, I know it was the Senate bill, but I ran over to the Senate and I said, hey, I'm about to use y'all's bill as a vehicle to get more things for our pharmacists.
Yep.
And that is allowing pharmacists, if you've got a sick kid, you can just go to your pharmacy and they can get swabbed for strep throat. Why you got to go to a doc in the box, pay them, pay copay, pay cash, whatever.
And especially considering you got to wait 3 weeks before you can get into the doctor.
Right.
Like strep's already killing you by then.
So this one, this amendment would allow some greater flexibilities where pharmacists can give some low-risk, non-complex testing and then also prescribe. So, again, giving greater access and more convenience for the patient is the goal there. So there's going to be a couple other bills that we'll take up, but that's the big one I wanted to highlight. Also, we're going to probably see us have the floor debate on physician non-compete.
Which would be a good one.
Yep. So
Should I just put my bill in as an amendment on the floor?
Yeah, right. So right now, physicians are locked up in non-compete agreements or clauses in their employment agreement. What this bill says is can't do that. It is, I think, a reasonable piece of legislation because it does allow.
So it's kind of like certificate of need, but for doctors.
Well, and it also allows for the hospitals or the facility to, in the employment agreement, if you're bringing in a new employee in, and they're from out of state, so you've got relocation costs, you've got training costs, you've got maybe some equipment that you're buying just for that physician to utilize. You're going to put monetary values on those things, and if the physician were to break that 2 or 3 year term agreement, it gives reasonable clawback considerations for the hospital or the facility, right?
Should be. Same way it is with transportation.
Right. So if the physician, wants to enter into an agreement, but then they want to break it, it gives some recourse for the hospital or the facility to get some of their investment dollars back, right?
Why shouldn't it work that way? I mean, that's the way it works with our transportation industry.
Yep.
If Swift pays for your education, gets you a license, and you decide to go to work over the road for them, but you decide to leave to go work for another company, well, now you've got to pay back all these fees that they incurred.
Yep.
They can't have you in a non-compete where you can't do anything.
Well, and that's some of the challenges that we run into is, you have rural communities where you might only have 1 or 2 of these types of physicians. And when you lock them up in a non-compete, they got to move out of that community to practice their livelihood. And so I think the public health suffers when we have these type of clauses in employment agreements, and this bill will just do away with those. So,
Sounds good to
It
me.
should be some good, healthy debate.
Yeah.
This is not a caucus agenda item. And, there are some folks I've had conversations with who don't support it within our Republican caucus. But then there's some folks who do. So,
Right.
I
bet you I could just look at the donor list and tell you which ones do and don't.
I have, well, I mean, and again, some folks have a hospital that is just really not for supporting getting rid of non-competes.
Right.
They use it as a barrier to protect themselves, right?
Well, I mean, imagine you're one of these hospitals in an area that not a lot of people want to live in.
Right.
But you're a bigger hospital and you want to bring in these doctors and physicians, and you want to increase the community. Well, now all of a sudden, it's being taken away. I can understand it.
Yeah, and so
but at the same time, how about just increase the safety of the community and
well, and so
maybe the need's not there as much.
And I know that, again, this is a bill that probably has our caucus. There may be 15, 20 who wouldn't support it, but then the rest do. And so we'll see what happens, because I know it all depends on your district, right? It all depends on the community that you're representing. And so we'll just see how the debate shakes out. I am all for just having robust, healthy, respectful debate. And when we have to go to vote, let's vote. Yeah. And hopefully we'll
It's kind of hard to argue that competition increases, everything whenever we're talking about education, but then whenever it comes to hospitals, no, we don't want competition.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, and you brought up CON. I didn't bring up CON. But it's some of the same talking points that I'm hearing, is that if we pass this, hospitals are going to go bankrupt. Yeah. And I'm like, I've already heard this.
I still remember Clymer talking about CON, and I'm just like, man, this stuff's boring. Like, is this really going to make a difference? And then all of a sudden, it gets past this, like, wow, this is making a difference.
Yeah, 100%.
And those are the wins that really should be celebrated.
That is healthcare in a nutshell. Yeah. It is so complex by design, right? And you chip away and do these little things, and for, I would say, the layperson, it's like, doesn't seem like that big of a deal, right? Like, we have passed the House in both terms. I have sponsored a bill to bring medical pricing transparency to South Carolina. So
common sense.
When you go to a facility, you need to know what it costs.
Does the Senate keep killing it?
Yeah. It always gets hung up in the Senate. And because I think the first...
All right, Senate, if we beat y'all in softball this year, you're going to hear medical transparency.
I think the first step in anything is bringing transparency to pricing, right? Only then, once you know what the prices are for services and goods and drugs and all those things, you can then start figuring out, okay, costs and a lot of other things, whether it's prior authorization, 340B, site neutral billing, all these other things with healthcare where you can start driving down cost, bringing in more competition. So it's going to be a fun week.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah, man. And please win softball on Tuesday night.
I don't know if they're going to allow me to play or not.
Yeah.
Once I mentioned I was going to dress up as Wild Thing, I don't know if the coaches want me in there or not.
Yep. Hey, well, that concludes this episode. Thanks again for Comer Distributing for supplying this tasty beverage this week. This is NODA Brewing Big Slurp Juicy Imperial IPA. It was tasty, man. It was good.
Yeah. Yep. That first sip, it's like a Jolly Rancher, but once you're through with that, you're good.
Yep. And also
follow us, like us, share us. pintsandpolitics.show. If you're watching this through a reel, please repost, please like, please share.
Yep.
Our engagement is going up, which is only a good thing. The more that you like and share us, the more people can hear us.
That's right. And let me go ahead and get some of the viewership up. Silfab. And also, let's thank Burns Automotive Group.
Yes.
For being our newest sponsor. They have locations right here in Rock Hill, and also have the Ford dealership in York. Yep, and that's right. And they've also opened up a few in Orangeburg. So thanks again for their support. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.